Hello everybody, I'm June Sarpong and welcome to our Line of Duty Masterclass with Jed Mercurio and Vicky McClure. We are so excited. Like for me, I'm such a fan of the show, so this is like Christmas come early. And I think just because they're just so great, just give them a round of applause just because. Now, I'm going to sort of go straight into the conversation because I think most people here are probably, like me, huge fans of the show and really want to get to the bottom of how the show came about, the process, but also how you create a program like this that can last as long as it has. And each time the characters become even more complicated and even more engaging. It's a real sort of, it's a real example of mastery. So, you know, thank you for being here. So I'm going to start with you first, Jed. Now, you run the show as a showrunner, which is very unique for the UK. Why did you decide to go down that route?
Well, it's something I'd done before. I did a series called Bodies about 10 years ago, and in that, originally I was going to be involved as a director. And then in conversation with the BBC, they felt that as a producer or executive producer, I could have more of an overview.
Yeah.
And actually in doing that, I realised that was the right way to go, that if you're directing episodes of your own show, and it's something I have done, you're kind of on the field, and you're not actually standing back watching how the thing unfolds, the match is unfolding. So it kind of suits me in that role, but also it means that I can be involved in how the script's realised, I can be involved in the choice of cast and directors, and then it also means I have a really direct relationship with cast, so that cast don't need to go through loads of intermediaries to talk to someone who's familiar with the script. We can just talk to each other. And just do it. Yeah. Because you oversee almost every element of it. Yeah, I mean, I'm involved in the setup. I'm there a lot on set when we're shooting, and then I'm in the edit a lot.
Brilliant. Well, let's have a look at it in action.
A jury acquitted a female DI called Lindsay Denton of conspiracy to murder at retrial because they were sure that one of your officers had engaged in an inappropriately intimate relationship in order to plant evidence in her home.
My officers do not plant evidence.
You see the pattern here? Sexism, undercover operations, and questionable evidence.
All right, this circus is over.
Superintendent Hastings, did you authorize DS Flynn to engineer charges against Hannah Resnikova?
I did not.
Did you authorize DS Flynn to tamper with evidence in regard to the investigation into the murder of Timothy Ifield from the 23rd of March to today's date?
I did not.
Did you induce forensic investigator Kevin Gill to alter his testimony in regard to the handling of evidence item reference KRG 13?
I did not.
Superintendent Hastings, at this time I'm unable to exclude you, DC Desford, DS Arnott, and DS Flynn from a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice in the actions you brought against me, which I believe are unfounded, vexatious, and intended to obstruct my lawful inquiries into the murders of Baswinder Kaur, Leonie Collisdale, and Timothy Ifield.
I've stopped believing a word you say.
Look at what I do, Nick. Not what I say, what I actually do. Everything is for us, for this family.
No, it's all for yourself. And you had better start treating me better. I know you're in those flats where the murder happened.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying I've had it with being taken for a fool!
Well, you're not listening. Look at what I do. You're linked to the near death of an anti-corruption detective, and you were hanging around outside a crime scene. You are the fool. I'm the one protecting you.
I tell you, I was so exhausted watching the Did you all feel the same? Oh, I mean, there were so many twists and turns. I had to stay in bed for a week after. So how did you come up with the idea of Line of Duty?
I'd been interested in doing something that was set in the world of policing for quite a while, and I was just really looking for something that I felt could be distinctive. And the idea of cops versus cops became the way into it, and finding a way that you would examine the institution of policing rather than it just being a formulaic thing where good cops are after bad criminals, because I think policing is more complicated than that, and there is drama to be found there that maybe a lot of the existing police series don't go after. So the idea of an anti-corruption unit became fixed as the idea, and after that it was about kind of constructing the architecture of the series so that it would be returnable, but each season would be serialized, and you would be able to take characters to the limit, but you would also be able to come back the following year.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, let's talk about Kate, Vicky. Oh, she is a character and then some, isn't she?
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look at her in action and then we'll have a chat.
The tape, I'm presenting the suspect with photographs H86734-L to P.
The point is who she was last seen with before she disappeared.
No. Wait.
She was murdered. Do you know who murdered her?
No.
Did you murder her?
No.
She was strangled. Do you know who strangled her?
No.
Did you strangle her?
No.
Her teeth were ripped out. Her face and finger pulps were burnt off using a high-temperature blowtorch. Do you know who did that to her?
No.
Did you do that to her?
No!
While you've been in custody, there's been a search of your residence and vehicle under Section 18 brackets 1 of the Police and Criminal Evidence Act.
Our people were trying to find clothes that you were wearing in these photographs.
Why didn't they find any?
I don't know.
Because you purposefully disposed of them to remove any trace of this girl's DNA and clothes fibres.
I must have had a clear out and given them to the charity shop.
Same with your vehicle. Check on local businesses reveals you had the car valeted the very next day.
Steam cleaned.
I didn't want my wife finding anything smelling the girl's cheap perfume.
So you admit taking measures to conceal evidence you were with her?
Because I got how incriminating it would be.
Funny that.
You were the last person to see Carly Kirk before she disappeared. The last person to see a girl who's later found buried under the industrial unit.
There's no evidence I did it.
Look at these photos! You had Tommy killed to silence him and you needed to kill Carly too.
You've got nothing connecting me to the body, nothing.
Your career is over, sir. Possibly your marriage too. Why keep up the lies?
I'm not a criminal, I'm an honest man.
You instigated a conspiracy that led to the deaths of 4 police officers.
The only conspiracy is against me!
Oh, yes. So Vicky, when you first saw the script and you were going for the audition, did you have an inkling that you were going to get the part?
No, I had a really bad audition, didn't I? Well, I thought. I mean, I got the job.
You can be honest.
No, I think the star quality kind of came through. We were looking for it.
Well, it was because there was 2 Steves, so I auditioned. They'd kind of gone through the process and hadn't found who they were after at that point. Right. So I auditioned with 2 other guys.
There were 2 pre-Steves, actually. They weren't the eventual Steve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And I just remember missing my mouth when I went to get a bottle of water. I was like, oh great, can't even have a drink. How am I gonna? But I knew that the scripts were amazing. I knew that it was something I'd not read before, and you could see what they were doing was different, and giving a female that kind of amount of work was also a big deal to me. So yeah, the audition was, I got the job, that's fine. I
think one of the scenes was them having to take away curry. So
yeah, which is great. I mean,
so I just thought, there you go.
Yeah.
That'll do.
What we do a lot of,
Because what's so interesting about Kate's character, she's so multi-layered, isn't it? When you think you know her, then you don't. So how do you sort of craft that as an actor?
I mean, she's got a lot of secrets, but she's also extremely honest.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of trying to balance the two. But with Line of Duty, you do just go, I'm going to rely purely on the scripts because they are that strong. As you know, it's the obvious thing to say, but you know, we have discussions and we talk a lot and we develop things. And you know, I'm always trying to push a lot to see Kate's outer world because we see so much of her at work and how she deals with sort of Steve and Hastings and all that kind of stuff. And you know, when she was having the affair and living in a car, and
I must
you know, I loved
like
all
her
that
very much.
No, well,
season
no,
2.
exactly. Yeah, she was doing all sorts of naughty things, but
I didn't feel sorry for her when she was sleeping in the car at that point.
oh really?
Yeah.
No, I understand that. So yeah, it's just nice having every time there's just massive changes, and it's not just sort of plain sailing with it. There's always stuff going on.